Right. Good morning. Our opening statement would be, Gandhi once said, the most heinous and the most cruel crimes in which history has recorded has been committed under the cover of religion and equal nobilities. Wars have been fought for religion, but beyond the Crusades, the jihads, the violence, the Inquisition, and the faith-driven terrorist attacks, religion causes most of the day-to-day prejudice in the world. For instance, we all have read our history books about the Holocaust. Who was behind the Holocaust? The Christian religion supported the Holocaust, and there was many Jewish people that died. As we read in our history books, they were tortured, they were killed, they were separated from their family. They were pretty much a whole culture was getting taken away. But religion has been used as the name of that. The Crusades is another thing which religion has been a cause of. The Christians invaded the Palestinians in quote unquote because they wanted the Holy Land. There's really no biblical source where we could go exactly and it could tell us the exact position of where this Holy Land is said to be. Not only that, but religion has diminished women in every sort. Even the war we're fighting right now. What is, like, why are we fighting that war? We say we're fighting it to save terrorism, and for the Muslims, they don't see it as terrorism. They see it as believing for the religion. For instance, terrorism, they thought that they were doing the best for their own religion. And it's not seen as a bad thing, but for those Christians, we see it as a bad thing, that they're attacking us. So religion is only seen as a fighting. What religion is better, or who has the correct quote-unquote thought, or who's going to heaven. People are going to force their religion onto others because people feel threatened by the idea that others do not share the same beliefs in religion. How much time do we have there? Religion is bad because it stunts intelligent growth and crips humans' interaction because it is an energy of control and opposition. When thinking about the wars that have occurred in history, we have to think about it. And pretty much most of all the wars could be traced down to religion. And even in the Bible, it says about wars that were fought. And they see it as a good thing because they killed people in order to save the religion from conquering the world. Is that it?
You have 30 seconds.
30 seconds. Hasn't it been enough that Jerusalem has been conquered 37 times, more than any town, but they always do it as because Jerusalem, is quote unquote the Holy Land, so everyone wants to get it. The Christians want to get it, the Israelis, the Muslims, they all want to have that power of containing that Holy Land. So that's why it's been overtaken over time in history and
okay, that's
right.
good. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, now, thanks for your quietness.
Our opponent brought up Gandhi. Gandhi was actually a religious man. She also brought up the Crusades. She mentioned that it was a war fought over the Holy Land. But in reality, it wasn't a war fought over religion. It was a war fought over the territory. She she also mentioned that many wars have been fought over religion, but she didn't specify which wars, and she didn't tell us her sources. I want to bring up that it is human nature to fight, and there's been wars fought over money, territory, oil. There's always going to be wars going on because it's in human nature. You can't blame it on religion. The only reason why people fight over religion is because it's such an important part of our life. She brought up terrorists also, and well, terrorists, they often sacrifice themselves for their religion, as we see with 9/11, because they believe that they'll get rewarded in the afterlife. Well, the kamikazes in Pearl Harbor, they also they sacrifice themselves for their government. Does that mean that government's also bad? Because these men sacrifice themselves for the government. And that's pretty much it.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Okay. Throughout history, we have seen that religion has tried to conquer more land in order to conquer more people, and that way they will have more people who have more faith. But throughout this time, they have always made the woman be less than the man. The man has always been the one that's on top, the one's in the hierarchy. He's always on top of whatever the women do. The women don't have a say in what has to be done. For example, three religions that base themselves in like Genesis is Islam, it's the Muslims, the Christians, and the Catholics, and the Jews. In Genesis 1, men and women are created simultaneously. But when we look at Genesis 2, Eve is created after Adam. For example, in Genesis 1:26 it says, "And God proceeded to create the man in his image. In God's image he created him. Male and female he created them." We see that they were both created at the same time. But then we proceed to Genesis 2:22, and it says, "And Jehovah God proceeded to build the rib that he had taken from the man into a woman, and to bring her to the man." This is signifying that the woman is less. And in these religions, they have been, this second account has been used to make the woman subjugated to the man. In history, there have been many women who have been great writers, great scientists. They have just been as good as the men or even better. But yet, these women are not quoted in books or any other sources because men have not thought that it was as good as they were. And like for example, early Buddhist writings contain no reference to unmarried girls going to school or being educated at home. They did not have the right to education, and if they were, it was not a good education as men. Why? Because women were looked as less. And if they had any good things that to write, they were not recorded, so those writings were lost. Because the woman is subjugated, for example, divorce cannot be taken into these religions. Divorce is forbidden because marriage is seen as something that has to be for life, no matter how much a woman is suffering, making her suffer even more. Religion has made women suffer so much that it doesn't give her an option. Catholic churches, for example, are against any type of birth control. And this will just make the women have more and more and more kids. In the long run, I think the women will get pretty tired of having kids, and it's a strenuous job. And it is scientifically proven that after women have too many kids, their bodies are too weak in the long run. Women have been subjugated, sacrifices have been made, and all in the name of religion. So religion has affected women greatly in a negative way.
Okay. Now this is the last, okay. This is the third one.
Okay. So my opponent says that women have been oppressed by religion. But I mean, if we take it to modern terms, for example, the Islamic women of Iran, which we're occupying at this moment, don't want to be changed. It is not based on religion, but mainly on their customs. For example, if an American woman who does not wear their attire visits an Islamic country, you are to wear this, you are to be covered, you cannot be revealing, not because you're religious, not because you're Islamic, but just basically because it is their customs. And because you need to follow what they use traditionally. We also must remember that within religion, we also honor the Virgin Mary. Can you think of no other woman who's honored beyond anything? We have holidays for her. We honor our mothers because they give birth to us. So we do honor the women. They are a very important part of religion and of our society. For example, the Virgin Mary is often the symbol of motherhood. And even just put aside Christianity, if you look through other religions as well, women are viewed as important. There's goddesses in Greek religion, Aphrodite, Athena, Hera. So women are not always oppressed in religion. In addition, my opponent also stated that Hitler caused the Holocaust due to the fact of religion. However, we must remember that Hitler was atheist, and the whole idea of the Holocaust was not due to religion, but just based on the fact that he wanted to create the perfect race, blonde, blue-eyed, Aryan. And we must also remember the fact that Hitler persecuted Catholics as well. So how is it that Hitler is going against religion? Jews have always been the scapegoats throughout millions of years. For example, if we talk about the Egyptians, how they captured the Israelites, they used them as slaves. Again, it wasn't due to the religion, but just on the fact of power, political power, which Hitler wanted, what the Egyptians wanted, what many of these nations wanted, as the Crusades as well. They were used mainly as power, these people were political pawns to gain more land. It isn't because of religion. In addition, we must remember, we must honor one more woman before I'm off. Joan of Arc. She led the French to victory. And why was she hanged? Because she was a political figure, not because she was a witch. Because she was a woman, an independent woman who believed God spoke to her. And because of that belief that God spoke to her, that is why she led those French to victories. And that is why the British hanged her. Thank you.
All right, you guys.
All right.
Okay, go ahead.
My opponent earlier said that the Islamic women use the burqa. It's not with the religion, it's with their customs. But if we think about it, who influences the customs? It is our religion that influences our customs. For instance, she talked about the Virgin Mary, right? If you look at La Virgen de Guadalupe, look at exactly how she looks. Look at how her face is down and how she's looking at the floor, representing that the women are inferior, right? Wouldn't that include when you look at the floor? That means you're not superior enough to look up. The Virgen de Guadalupe is also used as a way of conquer. The Europeans used her as a way of conquer because the indigenous people had a god called Tonantzin, which was the goddess of nurture for them. And they used her they used the Virgin of Guadalupe as a person of color, so they could associate with her, so they could join the Catholic religion.
Okay, I'm going to be strict on time because we have to, you have one more chance. Okay, you guys, this is your last one.